welcome to the channel. So in last some of the videos regarding exceptions, we have learned how we can handle exceptions in Python using try and except, how we can handle multiple exception, how we can use else and finally along with try and except, and what are those. So now in this video, if we will learn about how to raise our own custom exceptions basically. Okay, so if you want to manually trigger an error in our code, in that case we need to raise exceptions using raise statement. Okay, so what is raise statement? So it is basically used to trigger an exceptions manually, and basically we use raise our own exceptions when we want to enforce some kind of business rule or some kind of validations. And it can be used with built-in exceptions like we have already discussed: type error, value error, file not found error, or we can create our own custom exceptions. Okay, so this is the basic syntax of how we can raise our exception. Okay, so now let me explain why we should raise our exceptions when we already have try except where we can do that. So in some scenario when we write our program, we expect user to enter, let's say, a positive number, or if they enter a negative number or a string, what will happen in that case. Okay, so if we don't handle these things properly, so our means program might behave unexpectedly and it can crash also. Okay, so this is where raising exceptions help. Okay, by manually triggering the error when invalid data is detected. So basically we can use it to stop executions before bad data causes any problems, or we can give user clear feedback on what went wrong, or ensure that our program follows some business rule and constraint. Okay, so it gives us basically more control over how error are handled instead of like waiting for Python to throw a random error. Okay, so raise, this is the basic syntax how we can raise and then exception type like value error or type error, something like that. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say we have a function to set the age. Okay, and if the age is negative number, we should raise exception uh, because that is not a validate. So we need to validate the age before doing any processing. So let's say we have a function set age, and here we will have age as a parameter. Okay, now if we just use, okay, try and accept without using any our custom exception. Okay, so let's say exception accept basically. Okay, now here we will print age is age, or here we will write our some error, let's say print error. Okay, now if we call this function using a negative number -5, so here there is no way that Python will know that this age is not valid. Either we need to use if else, that if it's not a proper age then just return it or something like that. But here we can means raise our own exception, something without using try except also. So we can just check our age, what is the age. If age is less than 0, okay, so it means it's not a valid age. So now we can raise exceptions like raise, and this is a value error, and then we will write our own custom means error message. So we can write age cannot be uh, negative basically, right? Something like this. Otherwise we will just print whatever age is given. Age is, let's say, age. Okay, now if we run our program with same set, so now it is raising exceptions basically, that age cannot be negative. So when we call this function in another main program, we can handle it using try and accept now. Okay, So we have raised this exception, and we can handle it in another function where our main program will run, and we can get this error in the value error, that age cannot be negative. Okay, so let's say one more example is for type error. Okay, so in that case, let's say we have a function that will calculate the square of a number. Okay, and this function should accept only integer and should not accept any string or any other thing. Okay, so let's say we have a function calculate square. Okay, and here we will pass a number. Next, if not, so we can check whether this number is an instance of integer or not. There is one function called inbuilt function, basically called isInstance. Okay, so we can check if isInstance number comma int. Okay, if not, then we will raise our exception that it's a type error basically. So we can write number cannot be, or as we expect number should be integer, so expected integer number basically. Okay, otherwise if everything good, we will just return the square of this number. So basically num multiply by 2. Now if we call this method called calculate square, and we'll pass let's say string. If, first let me give a good example of, let's say 3. So if we pass 3, it will return as 3 square, which is 3 multiplied by 2. Square means it's a double asterisk, so now we will get 9. Okay, now instead of number, if we pass some integer string, we will get error as expected integer number, and we can handle this in our main program basically, where we will call this function using try except, something like this. Let's say try this and then except, which is a type error, as e, and we will write our print our exception e. So now if we run this, you see the error message is, we can write something like error is, and then we can print our e. So error is expected number is integer. If we run 4, so everything looks good, we need to print it basically. Here, print square, and it will return 16. So like this we can raise our own exception and we can handle it in our program. Same with this one also. So let me just copy, we'll call this function set age, and this is a value error basically we are raising. So now if we run, age is 4. Okay, age is 4, and if we put -1 here, so error is age cannot be negative, like this. Okay, so here we don't have to print because we are already printing on the top. Now if we look, so age is 3. So like this custom exception, raising custom exception work. Okay, so when to use this raise keyword, basically when to return means raise our own exception. One is when we are validating user input, like here we are validating the age, right? So checking for empty string or negative value, something like that, like username or password, like that, or enforcing a function that will accept a certain types, let's say integer or string or something like that. Okay, or when there is any critical error and we want to like stop our program at that point, so we can use this basically, right? So it's a powerful tool all in all, and some best practice like mostly we should use the built-in exception like value error, type error, which are already present in Python package. And we should always give the proper message here. It's not like any message you will provide, just provide the proper message so that user can understand what is going on. Okay. And and we should use logging also for the exception. I think in earlier one of the video I showed like how we can log using logger in Python, and we can create some kind of log file, right? So yeah, so in this video we learned about how to raise exception, and in some cases what will happen is like these exceptions are not enough for us, right? So in that case what we can do, so in that case we can create our own exceptions by using the main exception class, like inheriting that, and we can create our own custom exception. So in the next video we will learn about how to define our own custom exception classes to handle unique error cases, right, in our program. Thanks for watching. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment in the comment box. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.